As they would say on an indigo plane, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very good afternoon to you. As reticent an individual as I am, Mr. Kamal Nath's legendary perseverance left me with no choice but to speak at today's convocation. And I must admit, I am pleased to be here. I'm terribly embarrassed knowing that a great part of what I will share with you this afternoon may come across as being either self-serving or immodest, and I want to apologize for this in advance. The spirit is only to share with you some of the experiences in Interglobe's journey and learnings thereof. Allow me to start with talking about our beloved country for a bit. The mystique of India continues to grow where New Age India cohabitates alongside traditional India with amazing ease. The sacred cow and the Maybach receive equal respect on the roads of India. We were home to Mother Teresa, and we are now home to New Age goddesses like Aishwarya Rai. Age-old Ayurvedic medicine coexists with cutting-edge research and development in the area of biomedics. The prowess of India's IT and IT services industry has earned global recognition for being a knowledge-based powerhouse. The collective power of New India is fast propelling us into a whole new stratosphere of supernations. Goldman Sachs predicts that India is on its way to becoming the third largest economy in the world by 2050, next only to China and the United States of America. However, behind all the hype and hoopla, there is another India. We have the largest number of the world's poor. Compared with other nations, India has the largest illiterate population. We have large regional disparities. Our infrastructure is woefully inadequate, and as an example, we have just 200,000 kilometers of highways in comparison to China's 1.4 million. India's energy sector appears more than a generation behind that of China. A large part of our population remains unbanked. In terms of air transport capacity, India is more than a decade behind China. In terms of information technology infrastructure, the number of fixed wire broadband subscriptions per capita in India lags China by a decade, and the lag in terms of the number of internet users is about 7 years. Despite this, the promise of India is reflected by the reality that for the next 20 years or so, between 30 to 40 million young Indians will enter the workforce every year, and our productive population group will outgrow that of China. By 2028, 64% of India's population will be in the productive group as against 62% of China's. With GDP growing in the range of 7%, India is one of the fastest growing economies in the world today. Changes in the Companies Act, which made CRS contributions mandatory and also focused on public-private partnership, was a clear acknowledgement that both businesses and government will have to operate in and navigate an India which has abundant opportunity but is also fraught with serious challenges. With the coexistence of opportunity and challenge may seem like an oxymoron of sorts, it actually is quite the opposite. Opportunity always thrives in the face of challenge. With this background, allow me to now share with you some of the basic fundamentals that have worked well for us at Interglobe. And we continue to subscribe to these even in today's, pardon my expression, dog-eat-dog business ethos. 1, conviction is always the propellant for growth. 2, risk is part of the game, and as the saying goes, no guts, no glory. 3, planning and execution excellence transform goals into reality. And 4, relationships with employees and partners are more powerful than balance sheets. Conviction has always remained at the forefront of Interglobe's journey. On a few occasions, we have led a market opportunity, and at other times, we have paused to read a market opportunity before investing in it. We have consistently believed in the long-term potential of India as it relates to our industry, as well as in our strategy to be able to harness it to the greatest extent possible. Our investment in establishing a franchise for Galileo over 2 decades ago came at a time when there was, in the context of India, still doubt over the feasibility of a technology-driven future in travel. In partnership with Accor, we led a market opportunity by responding to the need to change the equation of fly inexpensive, stay expensive, by committing ourselves to investing in what we like to call no-frills chic business hotels under the brand of Ibis. For those of you who may not be familiar, till a decade ago, India offered either luxury accommodation or run-down guest houses, which were at best a glorified version of a bed and breakfast place. A standardized value-for-money hotel offering was non-existent in India. We believe that our initiative holds a very powerful proposition for the Indian middle class, which is currently around 267 million and is likely to more than double over the next decade. We paused and read a market opportunity before we decided to bring up the rear of mass air transportation in India by launching Indigo. There is a good old saying that my father used to often quote, "Jab Khuda meherban to gada bhi pehelwan." By God's grace, we also seem to have had the good fortune of taking well-considered risks. In 2005, we created history by placing an order for 100 Airbus A320 family aircraft, the single largest aircraft order by any startup airline in the world. We then followed this up by being the launch customer for the new fuel-efficient Airbus A320 Neo family aircraft and placed an order for 180 of these in 2011. And more recently, in 2014, we ordered another 250 of these aircraft, bringing up Indigo's order book to 430 A320 Neo family aircraft. In the history of commercial aviation, this represents the single largest aircraft order by any airline globally. Indigo currently operates a fleet of just under 130 aircraft, and it is expected to take delivery of 1 aircraft, give or take, every 9 days between now and 2027. Given Indigo's planned production increase, we are well positioned to embrace the market growth that we envision over the next decade. When it came to Accor, we looked through the tea leaves of their previously aborted partnership attempts in India and once again took a conscious leap of faith because we believed that they were the right partner to enable us to proliferate our country with a value-for-money hotel proposition. Today, the Interglobe Accor joint venture offers just over 8,000 rooms across 36 hotels in India, by far the largest number of rooms in the economy segment in our country. They say hindsight is sharper than foresight. However, the key to success is to be able to see the future today and get it right the first time. As an industry, we had to surmount the 9/11 challenge and plan for the future in a manner that would, to the extent possible, mitigate our pain in the unfortunate event of another world event. At Interglobe, we recognize the need to broad base our portfolio of businesses, both horizontally and vertically. We took our core competence of aviation and travel technology services beyond the shores of India to 4 other continents, and within India, we started to explore other travel-related initiatives. With Indigo and Interglobe Hotels, we transformed our enterprise from being a pure service provider to include asset-based businesses. However, planning is worthless if it is not backed by good execution. Planning and execution excellence is a key contributor to success. Let me give you a small example of planning. When Indigo placed the order for the first 100 planes in 2005, the industry was generally of the view that we were brain dead because Indigo was much too late entering the race, and the sheer magnitude of its order was a suicidal move. A few years later, the realization dawned that Indigo's delivery stream was worth its weight in gold, as the order books of both Airbus and Boeing for single-aisle aircraft were bursting at the seams. Rapid induction of planes helped Indigo jump the queue and achieve critical mass faster than anybody could possibly imagine. Let me take a pause and tell you a little story about these two boys who are walking in the jungle, and they have an encounter with a tiger, and the tiger starts to approach them, and they turn around and they start to run for their lives. So suddenly this one boy stops in his tracks and starts opening up his little backpack. And the other guy says, "What are you trying to do?" He said, "Well, I'm just trying to get my sneakers out." He says, "Are you crazy? You think you can outrun this tiger?" He says, "No, all I need to do is outrun you." Interestingly, even though there was a fair bit of skepticism about Indigo taking flight, we took our own time negotiating with the aircraft and engine manufacturers, and Indigo flew its maiden flight more than 2 years after securing the Indian government's approval. The reasons were twofold. Firstly, we knew that the longer-term opportunity of India was not running away. And secondly, we wanted to execute the launch and subsequent growth of the airline as flawlessly as possible. For us, the game is not about flying a handful of planes. It is about building a massive air transportation network over time, and this puts enormous demand on the quality of execution. More often than not, there never are those one or two big moves that make or break institutions. God is in the detail. Successful companies tend to break down every process into many small sub-processes and commit themselves to executing each sub-process better than the best in the business, thereby creating collective arbitrage, which over time proves to be formidable. The systems and procedures that need to be put in place not only have to be good for today, but robust enough to withstand the stress of longer-term growth. Another mantra which I would like all of you to take away today is that one of the most critical enablers for success is employees. To find people who have the basic competence to execute the day-to-day responsibilities is relatively easy. But to find people who have a fine balance between competence and commitment to service excellence is a much more daunting task. However, companies that find people with this unique blend differentiate success from failure and end up winning the game. And mind you, winning is not about being good. It's about being the best in class in the global arena. We at Interglobe take great pride in our enduring partnerships. Partnerships where there is a clear understanding and respect for the unique value each constituent brings to the table in one of the most, Partnerships where there is a clear understanding and respect for the unique value each constituent brings to the table is one of the most powerful ingredients in any formula for success. Rakesh Gangwal, the co-founder of Indigo, is someone I've known for almost 30 years. Early on in the planning phase of Indigo, I had made one commitment to myself. If Interglobe did ever launch an airline, it would only happen in partnership with Rakesh. Otherwise, we would just not do it. The reason for this was quite simple. In all the years we have been involved in the airline industry, I have not come across another individual, and I mean this at a global level, who is quite nearly as capable as him. The confluence of Indigo's 14,000 employees, Rakesh's fundamental understanding of the airline business, Interglobe's relenting belief in the India opportunity in terms of commercial air transportation, together with our resolve to contend with the challenges of doing business in our country, is what makes this airline tick. Almost 900 times a day in and day out, every single day. Similarly, Accor's understanding of owning and managing hotels, we at Interglobe can't learn in a lifetime. Interglobe's understanding of what it takes to do business in India, from buying a piece of land to constructing a hotel on it and getting it open for business, traversing through a maze of regulatory approvals, Accor cannot learn in a lifetime either. However, the combined strength of the two organizations in the context of building a significant hotel network in India is again very powerful. In conclusion, and something that Mr. Nath spoke about a few minutes earlier, I started off life in much the same manner as all of you are about to. In my wildest dreams, I could not have imagined that I would be doing the sort of stuff I do today. I planned for a few small steps in life, and I stumbled upon a few bigger ones along the way. In this journey, the learning which stands tall is to have the honesty of purpose in whatever it is that one pursues, and to have the resolve to do the right thing. Taking shortcuts in life may offer momentary pleasure, but I can assure you that the rewards of being honestly purposeful and doing the right thing not only stand the test of time, but they come in more ways than one can possibly imagine. My heartiest congratulations to the graduating class at IMT. Please go out there and defy gravity by learning to soar fearlessly. Thank you.